Sup, my doggies.
Salutations.
If you can't tell, today we're doing Miss Ma'am, the myth, the legend, Miss Barbie. We just watched the movie.
Yep.
And it slayed. And so in commemoration of the movie, I brought some of my own Barbies, my favorites. Teacher Barbie. I brought Dr. Barbie. I brought TV show announcer Barbie. And I brought the only male Barbie I have, the only one that's stuck around. It's not even Ken. His name is Blaine. And he was around in the early 2000s. Don't know whatever happened to him. He was not in the movie, but pretend This is Ken. Yep. Pretend that's Ken. Obviously, spoilers for Barbie. And if I need to tell you that, get a grip. Okay? We are going to be talking about the feminism and the matriarchy versus the patriarchy of the Barbie movie. And also, I have a surprise guest that we will be talking about at the end of this.
Surprising me as well. Okay.
I mean, I don't think you're going to be that surprised with who it is. So, first question that I'm just going to ask you is, do you think Barbie the doll is a feminist doll? Do you think that she
You're asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
Before watching the Barbie movie, I had no idea. And I thought the answer, to be honest, was no. But after the watching movie, I have a better understanding. So I guess the answer would be yes in this case.
Okay. Because I am going to argue that she has always been. Before her, there was only the baby doll and porcelain dolls. And those bitches are creepy. Okay? Y'all ever seen a porcelain doll? You want to play with that? So her main appeal, even when she came out, wasn't that she was, like, beautiful, but it's that she was an adult and she had every job imaginable. She has been the president. She has been an astronaut. She has been a doctor. She has played every single sport imaginable that you could think of. She's a sensei. She's an equestrian.
I love the word equestrian. For some reason.
Ken is an equestrian.
I just really love the word equestrian.
It is fancy. Tina Belcher loves equestrian. And so does Ken. But anyway, she's done it all. Okay? And that's part of the appeal. And even in her first dream house, there was no kitchen. Her first Barbie dream house was just like a living room with a couch and like a record player and maybe a TV. But it was basically about like, imagine yourself having fun. We're not using this doll to teach domestic skills like a baby doll would be. It's like how to be a mom. There's nothing about that. It's just dream. What do you want to do? Barbie went to the moon before women could have credit cards. Like, that's pretty insane.
That would have probably... Was that controversial at the time?
I actually don't know.
Or at least, like, revolutionary?
It was definitely revolutionary. Controversial, probably, because people have an issue with anything and everything. But, yeah. Especially since in Canada, the latest for the last woman to be allowed to vote was 1960. So Barbie was around before every single woman was recognized as a citizen of Canada to vote. Did y'all know that?
Sounds about right.
I learned that recently. That's funky as shit. Anyway, so the Barbie movie plays on the fact that Barbie has had every job and assumes that women in the real world are able to easily pursue any job that they want. And the Barbies are unaware that many of her own jobs that she has done are male-dominated and that women in the real world are often not even encouraged by society or even their own family to pursue these jobs.
So what are some examples of this that we see in the movie?
Like Lawyer Barbie, which she wasn't in the movie, but that's like an example that I'm just kind of coming up with. Jobs like that. There has even been like construction worker Barbie, like even in that. Like,
that's true. There was a sequence about like going up to the construction people in the real world.
Yeah.
To see if there were some women to help them out.
Yeah, and guess what? There was like none. So yeah, it's just stuff like that where it's either like physically demanding jobs or just jobs that are too high of a position of power where it'll kind of get funky. Even myself, as a professor, there have been like concerns from people in my life, and it's like, do you get maternity leave? It's like, hey, maybe just be happy that I want to get a doctorate, though. Like, it's weird. It's really weird.
Okay.
So Barbie doesn't know that there's still, like, issues. And that's a big, big part of the plot. Because she goes to the real world and she's like, why does no one recognize all of my accomplishments? And it's like, oh, because you're not a real
Because Barbie
human.
hasn't actually
You're not a human.
fixed a bunch of
And
things.
you also haven't fixed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The movie also acknowledges motherhood as a feminist job. Because in theory, so long, like, it's kind of one of those topics in feminism where it's like, is it feminist to be a mom because you have to play into so many, like, blah, blah, blah. If you think about it, anything can be feminist so long as it's your own choice and you're willing to do it. And, you know, whatever. That's the main point. So they really play on this and...
How? How do they put emphasis on that?
Well, Gloria is a mother. And she kind of learns that Barbie has come to empower her as a mom. And by the end, because of Barbie and the whole experience that they go through, she's able to reconnect with her daughter. She's in a very low-paying, female-dominated job as a secretary. Like, even though she has amazing drawings, really she should be in a designing role, but that's not where her life led her. So now she doesn't have any fulfillment through her job like Barbie does. So what does she have to get fulfillment through? Her job as a mother. And so they really, really worked this in a really beautiful way where it's like, although she sacrificed so much, she can kind of rekindle her own self and find her own self again through these Barbies and learn that, like, there are external forces at play that make you feel like you're not worth anything anymore. And this is also seen in the way that Barbie kind of very lightly talks about beauty standards in this with regards to growing old. In the scene where she is on the park bench with the real creator's daughter, Barbra, and she looks over at her, Margot Robbie's Barbie looks over at her and is like, you are so beautiful, to this old lady. And she goes, I know, and smiles at her. Is really cute because the Barbies in their world, they don't grow old. So they don't understand that in the real world, as you grow old, you kind of lose all of those features that made you, like, beautiful in the, like, conventional way.
Okay. So
in that scene, it's kind of acknowledging, like, you don't lose any beauty as you grow old. You can still be beautiful when you're old. And I know, look at me, some of y'all out there, I know that we as women put a lot of emphasis on our beauty. These guys, they talked about it, and they made it seem like the truth is you are still beautiful. And I thought it was really cute. Especially since a really big issue for Barbie is how hot she is. Like, oh, she's so pretty and promotes unhealthy beauty standards that it's gonna wreck the kids' minds. And it's like, I don't know about y'all, but, like, when I used to play with Barbie, I didn't look at her and go, I need to be as skinny as her. I looked at her and I was like, I want to have a pink Vespa. So it's kind of like what happened in the movie where it's the adults kind of placing their concerns onto the doll rather than it's the kids doing it.
So now here's another question. Is that something that people actually... I think, because this is also a debate that happens a lot with, like, models and dolls or any kind of, like, imagery or media.
Yeah.
Do you really think everyone is, like, comparing themselves to that and then, like, turning back and feeling inadequate? Or is it, like, not really the case?
I think it depends on the media. Like, I think that dolls are definitely low on the totem pole of self-comparison because it's your tool for escapism.
It's also a doll.
Yeah, also it's a doll. But I think in stuff like magazines and models and stuff like that, that is a situation where you are supposed to directly compare yourself. Like, that's what it's prompting your mind to do, is, like, you look at someone modeling clothes and it's like, okay, I have to put myself in their shoes. How would I look in that dress? And it's like, I certainly would not look like that. But when it comes to Barbie, you're not supposed to look at Barbie and be like, how would I look in Barbie's clothes? It's how would I be in Barbie's profession?
So it's more of an issue with real people than with a plastic doll.
Yeah. In my opinion, I think that that's definitely more of an issue. Especially since then those same models are like in movies, and then it kind of perpetuates more so that your worth is placed on your beauty rather than where the dolls, like, they don't have a message like that. It's just like, this Barbie's a doctor and she's blonde. Deal with it. Like, there's no other messaging in that unless you yourself already have the insecurities to place onto Barbie, which is kind of what what's her name? What Sasha was kind of doing with her character, where she was in that period. There's like this weird period of time as a tween girl where sometimes you'll kind of become a little bit of a pick-me and you just like crave male validation so much that you want to put other women down. And she kind of does that to Barbie when she first meets her, where she's like, you set us back so much, blah, 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 you fascist. And
With Barbie since we were like 5 years old. Oh.
Barbie's like, what did I ever do to her? I'm trying to help her. And it's like, that stems from maybe some of her own insecurity, but also like, there is truth to that statement.
I will say, I was initially confused by that scene until you sort of explained this pick-me idea. But what exactly is a pick-me?
A pick-me is a woman that is willing to do anything for male approval. She will embarrass or throw other women under the bus to achieve this goal. The unfortunate thing about a pick-me is usually the men they are trying to seek approval from are poor quality and treat women badly, leaving little real benefit for the pick-me. So I'm not saying that Sasha is a pick-me, but it's kind of this mentality of I'm going to throw another woman under the bus to make myself feel better. And it's like you're actively making the choice to see Barbie in that way rather than to side with her, which will take us to the matriarchy of Barbie. Because Barbie world is a matriarchy and everything is pink and it's so cute. All of the Barbies in Barbie world support each other. They are all proud of each other and their jobs and what they have to do and their accomplishments. And it's really cute. And there's this really strong sisterhood that is built. It really shows the difference between Barbie's matriarchy and Ken's Mojo Dojo Casa House patriarchy.
Oh man, because like the takeover doesn't actually go that well.
It does not.
Right.
Ken's not even happy with his takeover.
Yeah, like it doesn't go very well. They're not really enjoying it. There's quite a bit of like infighting and competition.
Yeah, which is a very stark contrast to Barbie's matriarchy, where all of the women are proud of each other. They even have a segment where they're like, turn to the woman next to you and ask her a really nice question. It's like, how'd you get so beautiful? It's like there is this bond that is very real between women in the real world, where it's like, if you see a girl in a nice dress, or you like her purse or her outfit or anything about her, you go up to her and you compliment her and then you leave. And that is so normal. Has a man ever done that to you?
Nope.
There you go.
The only time,
Mojo Dojo Casa House.
The only time I've been complimented like seriously is when either
me.
I meant by like friends.
Oh, okay.
Is when like they've been forced to.
Bruh.
So,
how do you force a compliment? That's not even a compliment.
Well, sometimes you're kind of in a group setting and like the leader of the group setting initiates this by saying like, let's all go around and say one nice thing about one other person.
Bruh. Okay.
And that like,
I mean,
it's
nice.
never really happened to me, just like out in public.
Okay. All right.
Are you is this incredibly sad?
It's really sad. It's really sad. Because I think that I will probably get 2 compliments a day from other women's in the world.
That's not what happens.
Mojo Dojo Casa House.
That's why I stay in my Mojo Dojo.
You can't even say it.
Mojo Dojo Casa House.
This is not a Mojo Dojo Casa House. There is not a single horse in here. There is not a single horse. There's no denim. You don't wear jeans because you say they're uncomfortable.
Because they are.
There's no mini fridge.
Oh, well, you have a mini fridge. Does that make
That's for
yours
water.
a Mojo
Well, you know
Dojo
what?
Casa house?
Maybe I do live in more of a Mojo Dojo Casa house than you do.
That's true. You also have, like, karate equipment.
Okay,
So
look, I
dojo
do
is
go to
fulfilled.
the dojo. But
Right?
I am not a part of Ken's patriarchy, and I don't care for horses like that, okay? Anyway, Barbie also... The Barbies are in every main position of power in Barbie World's Matriarchy. However, in between Barbie's World Matriarchy and the Patriarchy, there is differences in how the non-reigning gender Barbie Ken doll is treated. And in Barbie World, the Kens aren't acknowledged because the Barbies are confident in themselves and have their own lives to live, so they kind of aren't concerned with what the Kens think of them when they're not directly around.
And they don't really like them.
It's not that they don't like them, they're just, like, not attracted to them romantically. So they're kind of like, okay, like, hi.
Yeah.
And they're like they're nice to
They're
them.
acquaintances.
They're nice to the Kens. They just don't, like, bother them.
Yeah.
You know? Because...
Well, it's like how... I think it's how you would, like, talk to a stranger on the street. Or someone...
No, it wasn't
someone
like
that you don't.
stranger. It's kind of like, just like... Second...
They're like colleagues.
Second level friend, maybe, I think.
Like outer circle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
secondary circle friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, not stranger. You're still nice to them.
But then in contrast...
In contrast, in the Mojo Dojo Casa house, it's about what the Barbies can do for the Kens. This stark difference between Barbie World Matriarchy and Mojo Dojo Casa House Patriarchy is that the Barbies are like, we're gonna do our own thing, you go do your own thing, we don't really care. The Kens are like, fucking hot, dude. You're hot, can you, like, rub my feet and bring me a beer? So that I can mansplain The Godfather to you? And then I'm gonna sing a song about how I am going to put you down so that you will be in submission to me. And the Kens are not very good at this. They are not good at that. But they do it because they think that it's what they should want. And they do it because that's what main Ryan Gosling Ken brought to them. And they like horses. So they're just kind of like, you know, we should like these Mojo Dojo Casa House man cave things.
How many times do you think they got that wrong on set?
Oh, probably so many. It is kind of hard to say. But, like, they're like, we should like cowboy horses, rodeo things. We should love denim and leather and big fur coats. We should love pull-up bars and mini fridges and cars.
Yeah.
When they don't. They don't like those things. Some of them maybe like parts of those things. But they
like horses.
But they like horses. And the Patriarchy Mojo Dojo Casa House relies on the Barbies serving them as a big part of their system.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they have to rub their feet and wear revealing clothing. Their clothing becomes even more skimpier than Barbie's, like, normal clothes. Because Barbie's normal clothes are just kind of, like, cute things. But they become, like, these, like, booty shorts and more revealing shirts. And it also forces the Barbies to minimize themselves. Intellectually and in their opinion. And that's why a big part of the plot is kind of getting the Barbies to be like, wake up! Wake up! You don't have to act like an idiot for the Kens to like you and then be accepted just to rub their feet. Like, that's gross. You know that Ken's feet are stinky because his job is beach.
Oh,
those are some sandy toes.
Oh.
You know?
I hate sandy toes.
And then Simu Liu's just does backflips. That man is sweaty! And you want to rub his feet?
His name is Backflip Ken, right?
I don't know what... I think it's just Ken. But I think his job is backflip.
Okay.
Is his job backflip? I would say so. But, like... Anyway, Barbie's matriarchy and Ken's patriarchy are very different. And they reflect the differences between the way men and women are socialized. because the Barbies just want to be free to pursue whatever they want in a world that is cute and where they are unbothered by the Kens. But what the Kens want is to dominate not only the Barbies, but each other. Which is why they aren't even really friends with each other. Like why Ryan Gosling's
Well, they weren't friends from the beginning.
Well, yeah. But that's because they were jealous of each other. But it's exacerbated in the Patriarchy one. Because that's when all the Kens go to war.
Yeah.
Remember?
That's a funny war.
Did you see the two doing aerobics in the background with each other? It looked like they were dancing.
Aerobics?
I couldn't tell you this in the theater, but there was two of them. Like, put your arms out. They were just doing like this. But like aerobics, but fighting each other in the background.
Okay.
And it was so funny. But anyways, the Kens want to dominate each other. Right? In the Barbies matriarchy, the Barbies lift each other up. They do the nice questions thing. They slay. They have their slay. But the patriarchy literally crumbles because of Ryan Gosling's Ken and Simu Liu's Ken just not being able to get along.
Yeah.
You know, they have a dick measuring contest just the whole movie. And Simu Liu, he kind of wins.
Oh.
He kind of wins because he can do backflips.
Mm.
Realistically, the movie shows that neither a whole matriarchy or patriarchy is good. Because we need a system that doesn't favor a single gender, and also we need a system where, despite gender, race, sexual orientation, whatever, etc., you should be able to achieve your dreams and not be held back in any way. Because would you believe if we were all equal, we'd all be happy? Who'd have thought? So the Barbies kind of come to this realization at the end, and they give Ken a position in government, not like a position, like a high position, but like a lower position. And she encourages him to kind of find himself and what he likes and to kind of be his own person separate from Barbie. Because up until this point, Barbie was like, all of my worth is in relation to me being an accessory to Barbie, which is also a metaphor for how women have been treated for like centuries as a accessory to men. So the Barbies are like, find what you like. You don't have to be Beach Ken if that's not what you like. He should be Horse Ken.
He can be Horse Ken.
And he can.
He'd do great.
He just has to accept himself as Horse Ken. Mm-hmm. And that's the first step. But they give Ken a position, and it's kind of to show that change takes time. And kind of to talk on this point of like, Ken as an accessory to Barbie, women as an accessory to men as the person in the home domestically who does all that stuff so that then he can go do his thing like Barbie, and then we're just like, well, guess I'll just stay home. According to the New York Times, women's unpaid labor is worth $10.9 trillion as of 2020, where if you were to pay someone to be a house cleaner, a nanny, a personal cook, it would have cost 10.9 trillion, and as of now, probably way more than that. So
yeah, also
sounds about right.
That's actually one of the main critiques of GDP, but I'll let you finish.
Okay. Anyways, the movie's message is very strong, and it benefits everyone, because although Ken's character is a metaphor for how women have been ignored, it can also be read as advice for men who place all their worth on gaining women's affection and attraction, because it's known that women are the ones who are placed with a lot of need and craving for male validation, but guys also kind of are told to have that for women because it shows that you're like more women's. If I have the most women's, I am most man's. And that's that's weird. That's so weird. Why did we ever do that? Like, your self-worth should not be determined by your appeal to the opposite sex or to literally anyone but yourself. It's time for this special guest.
Who's our special guest?
Do you know who it is? It's our favorite character. It's Allan.
Played by Michael Cera.
Played by our king, Michael Cera. We are in our Michael Cera era, by the way. We love Michael Cera in this household. Mm. And if you don't, you can leave. Because he's a king. And he was a double king playing Allan. Because Allan, in both the matriarchy and the patriarchy, is himself. They could not have hit the nail on the head better than the quote, the phrase, "There's only one Allan," and he's just Allan. Because he is, and he slays it. I don't care that he got discontinued for being too close to Ken. They thought that they were smooching.
Oh.
So he got discontinued.
All right.
But you know what? I want to smooch him. Don't you?
Sure.
Yeah. And I do. Okay? So take that. The internet is in love with the character, by the way.
Yeah.
Everyone's
shown me some of the funny
claiming him.
stuff.
Everyone loves him. We love him.
Oh.
He was such a great addition. And everything made so much sense up until the fight scene. Because that...
Just
Allan,
Michael Cera going like...
Here's the thing, is because I always thought that Michael Cera would have a weak punch.
Does he?
I mean, not in that
Did it
fight
look like...
scene.
Did they switch him out with a stunt double? I'm not sure.
It probably... It has to be. There's no way that he knows how to... That he knows how to throw a punch. Seriously.
I have no idea.
But anyways, be like Allan is the takeaway of this video. And also, love yourself. Oh, what's that one line? Love yourself. Accept yourself.